Good evening, everyone. I am Ritesh Naik from HRDC team. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Mohipal Singh Kesawat sir, a distinguished academic and researcher in the field of genetic and plant breeding. He is currently serving as assistant professor and head of the department at Sri Sri University, Odisha. Dr. Kesawat sir earned his PhD from Seoul National University, South Korea, and has held several prestigious positions, including postdoctoral associate and research professor at top South Korean institutes like UNC University and Kyungpook National University. With over 15 years of academic and research experience, he has authored more than 50 research and review papers in reputed national and international journals. Today, we are privileged to have him guide us on the topic Mastering the Art of Scientific Publishing Strategies and Tactics of Publishing in High Impact Journals. His experience as an editorial board member, reviewer, and award-winning researcher will provide us with valuable insights into the nuance of successful academic publishing. Let's welcome Dr. Kesavas sir and look forward to a highly enriching session. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ritesh, for your kind words and introduction. First, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the organizing committee who gave me this opportunity to share my publication experience with all of you. So I am delighted to welcome you all to this session of Mastering the Art of Scientific Publishing Strategy and the Tactics to Publish in High Impact Factor Journals. So, in today's competitive research landscape, publishing is not just about sharing the results. It's about communicating your work effectively so that it reach the right audience, makes an impact, and advance your career as well as your field. So in this lecture, I will take a tour of the slide where I will share practical insight and proven strategy that can help you navigate the publication process more confidently and increase your chance of getting published in high quality journals. So let's get started and learn how to turn good research into a great publication. So in this lecture, I will cover some essential aspects of the academic publishing or the scientific publishing. First, I will discuss why it's important to publish your research and how it contributes to your field and your career. Next, I will discuss about the various type of articles you can write, from original research paper to reviews, short communication, and more. Then I will guide you through the publication process step by step, from preparing your manuscript to submission, pre-review, and final decision. After that, I will tell you about the standard structure of research article. And my today talk focal point is the research article. And I will break down the structure of a research article so you know what to include in each section to meet the expectation of the editors and the reviewers. Finally, I will talk about how to write effective titles, abstract, methods, result, discussion, and conclusion. Because a strong manuscript can make your work stand out and reach the right audience and the wider scientific community. Therefore, by the end of this lecture, I'm pretty sure you will have a better understanding of how to prepare and publish your work successfully in the high impact factor journals. So now the question is that why you should publish? So first, you have probably heard the phrase publish or perish. This reflects the reality that publishing is essential for sustaining an academic career. You also have seen the API score of UGC, where the publication section play an important role to get promotion or to get in the academics. So another reason, it's the main way we can demonstrate our productivity and contribution to our field. Second, publishing in the peer-reviewed journals provide a validation. It means your work has been evaluated and approved by the other expert in your field. And if you are suppose publishing in the national journals, then the reviewer is from across the India. And if suppose if you are publishing in the international journals, then reviewer across from the world. So they are the best expert in their field. So suppose if they validate their work and you published in the some national or international journal, it means it boosts your confidence and adding the credibility to your findings. Third, publishing regularly is also help uh, uh, to establish your reputation as a serious researcher in your field. So it's build your academic identity and the reputation within your field. Fourth, publishing is also increasing your visibility. A well-cited paper can bring your work to the attention of the other researcher or the policymaker and the industry stakeholders. If you are publishing regularly, it's also help to advance the research. Suppose you, by sharing your findings, you can contribute to the collective progress of science and make it possible for others to build on your work. If you see the microbiology was established in the 16th century and still we are doing the research on the microbiology. So if you are publishing regularly, so it also contribute to the collectively progress of the science. And of course, it possible for other to build on your work. If you also publishing regularly, it's also often foster the collaboration. When people see what you are working on, and they have more likely to reach out for joint project, which can lead to new opportunity and the fresh ideas. Here, I would like to give an example. Basically, I'm from the agriculture background. So in agriculture, we have the different discipline, including the entomology and the pathology. Entomologists study about the insect and the pest, and the pathologists study about the disease which is caused by the microorganism. So they are the expert in their field, but nowadays maybe you heard about the drone technology or the remote sensing. So if somebody is from the engineering background and he will see your findings in the entomology or pathology field, he may collaborate because he don't have any knowledge about the pathology and the entomology, and pathologists and the entomologists, they don't have any knowledge about the engineering field. So they both work together and develop a collaborative project so they can minimize the losses which is caused by the insect and the pest. They can develop some technology or the drone technology. They can early diagnosis the insect pest or the disease. So at the appropriate time, we can take the measurement and we can minimize the loss which is caused by these insect pest and the disease. So here you have the chance to foster the collaboration if you are publishing regularly your scientific manuscript. And another reason, if you have publishing regularly, that means you can also attract or unlock the fundings. A strong publication record can help you to attract or unlock the funding. Many funding agency and the institutes look at your past publication. So they want to see if you have the good past publication record, then they understand the applicant is capable enough for executing the project. If you don't have the good track record of your past publication, that means you are incapable to execute the project. So this is the crucial factor in grant decision. Hence, in short, publishing is not just an output. It's a pillar that support your entire academic journey. So I'm assuming here maybe some young researcher is here or maybe newly joined assistant professor. So now let's understand the key difference between a thesis and a research article, because the young or the budding researcher, they struggle when adapting a thesis into a publishable article. Maybe a thesis is designed to meet academic requirement for earning a degree. In contrast, if you see, the research article must meet the standard and the style of the scholar publishing. The another difference between the thesis and the research article is the thesis usually reviewed by a small committee of the faculty member, except the external examiner, which is outside of the institute or the university, whereas a research article, which is reviewed by a panel of blind reviewers who evaluate its quality and originality. So if you see, the thesis is structured into the chapter such as introduction, review literature, material and methods, result discussion, conclusion, and the summary. And it can be quite lengthy. Typically, thesis has no strict word limit. But if you see, the research article are structured in a clear section, which is I'm going to discuss in my coming slide, and follow the strict word limit and use a concise manuscript format. If you see the thesis, it's also include a table of content and the often present an extensive review of the literature. While the literature review is much more brief, only the most relevant studies are included in research article. In thesis, the institutional review board approval is usually described in detail, and it also provides the full description and the copy of any tools or the instrument which is used in the research, and it generally present all the finding. In the thesis, you can see all the finding usually they present in the thesis, whether they are the significant or not. While in research article, this institutional review board approval is summarized briefly, usually in 1 to 3 sentences. In the thesis, all the non-essential information about the tools and the method is provided and presenting all the results. Whereas in research article, you must provide only essential information or your significant finding about your tools or the methods, and author must select the most significant findings that support the article main message. So while a thesis, if you see, it's demonstrate your deep and the broad research skills. A research article showcase your ability to communicate a key insight clearly and concisely to a wider scientific community. So now let's look at the different type of the scientific publication you can consider when deciding how to share your work. First, we have the empirical papers, and these are the based on the original data, which is collected through the experiment or through the survey or the field work. So empirical paper is the most common type of the research article. Next, a case study, which is mostly published by the medical science background, those scientists who are from the medical background or the management or the social science background. And here they focus on the depth analysis of a single example, such as an event, individual, or organization that illustrate a larger principle or raise a new question. You can also publish a methodology paper, which is introduce a new methods, or somebody have optimized the methods, technique, or tools that can be used by other researcher in the field. Basically, I am a plant biotechnologist. Many people have also standardized the protocol or the optimization of DNA extraction or the RNA or the protein extraction. The same, it can also published by the computer scientists if they have developed some tools or so they can also publish a methodology paper. A theoretical paper, which is basically published by a those who have the physics background or from the computer science background. Sometimes they develop the new concept, frameworks, or the models. So these articles contribute to advancing theory rather than the presenting new data. You can also write the short communication or the brief report, and they are the concise paper that quickly share the new or the significant findings that don't require a full-length article. And you also have the opportunity to write a perspective opinion or the commentary, which is allow you to share your expert insight or the viewpoint on the current trends or the debate or the any emerging issue in your discipline. You can also write a letter to editor, which is a typical short piece that respond to an article published in a journal or highlight an important issue that needs the immediate attention. Lastly, I'm pretty sure you heard about the review article, which is summarizing or the synthesizing the existing research on a topic, highlighting what is known and where the gaps are and what future direction which is might be valuable. So by know and understanding these options, you can choose the best option to share your work and teach the right audience effectively. So, but I already told you that my focal point is research article. So let's walk through the publication process, how the publication process work from your submission to the publication. So you know what to expect once you say submit or send your paper to a scientific journal. So if you see, it's all begin with the initial check for the quality and scope. The general editorial office check whether your manuscript fits the journal aims and the standard. This is very important. And the same times they also check the guideline which is provided to the authors, uh, whether they have the followed or not, about the introduction. Sometimes you have the heading, your introduction should be the italics or the material method, or subheading you have to give the some numbers. So it's depend on, the varies from journal to journal. So suppose if it doesn't meet, it can be rejected immediately at this stage. But if initial check for the quality and scope was passes, the first check it assigned to an editor or an associate editor. So the editor reviews the manuscript to decide whether it's strong enough to move forward for the review process. Again, if the editor feels the work is not suitably for or ready, it may be rejected here as well. If the editor approve the paper, it's move forward for the review stage. And here expert in your field, which evaluate your work for its scientific rigor, originality, and the contribution to the field. It's a very important. Suppose what the your finding you have to submit some scientific journal, they will check whether this study is going to contribute to the field or not. Again, if the editor feels the work is not suitable, or no, suppose based on their feedback, your paper can be accepted, rejected, or sent back to you for the revision. So suppose if you get the revision from the reviewers, and there are the three type of the revision. What I have published over the 50 research and the review articles. So mostly I got the minor revision, where you have the some typo error or the some grammatical mistake, where you will get the minor revision. And another type of the revision is the major revision. Major revision means you have the some key issue with your study, whether it's the experimental design or any big issue. If suppose if you have, then it will come for the major revision, and you have to address or respond the reviewer comments. And the third type, which is maybe you can get the minor as well as the major revision. So once your paper, suppose you have respond nicely to the reviewer comments, then your paper pass for the review process, and it move to the acceptance and the production. So this is when your manuscript is finalized, formatted, and prepared for the publication. Finally, your paper is published and promoted. So it appear online or in a print, then the journal may help to promote it so it reach a wider audience and the scientific community. So keep in mind, rejection can happen at multiple points, but this is the normal and the part of the process. Understanding each stage help you prepare a stronger manuscript and respond effectively to the feedback of the reviewer comment or the editor comment or the editorial office comments. So how does an editor decide whether a manuscript merits the publication? So first, an outright acceptance without any change is a very rare. Most manuscripts, even a stronger ones, can be sent back to the authors to address the queries and the criticism from the reviewer. I don't want to use here the term of the criticism. Mostly, whenever you get, the comments from the reviewer or the editors, they are the constructive comment. Okay, so it's a very rare if you just submit your manuscript and it get the acceptance or no. It's very rare. In my 15 years career, I have seen last year one research article which was accepted with after submission with some minor revision. A very minor revision was there, and the impact factor was the 5.2 in chemical and biological technology in agriculture. So it's a very rare, even though most manuscript, even I already told you that stronger one will be sent back to the authors to address the queries or the constructive, the criticism from the reviewer or the editorial office. So sometimes a manuscript might be need significant revision. As I already told you, there are the three different type of, the revision, major, minor, and major minor. Sometimes both you can get. So if you need the significant revision to address the certain key issues before it can be accepted. So in this case, author must carefully respond to each reviewer comments and show they have the improved the manuscript. I also have reviewed more than 200 research and the review article for the top journal of the plant science. And I have seen, and from here also I have seen the many manuscript when most of the researcher, when they respond to the reviewer comments, what they do, they don't make, the track change. And what the comment which is they received from the reviewers or the editors, they don't highlight. So it's a very important. You have to make the track change version also and the clean version also. In the clean version, you can highlight in the red color what the reviewer, and you have to respond one by one. Suppose you get the 10 comments or the 20 comment, then take the comment number one, whether it's a grammatical mistake or the typo error, and respond. And you respond the politely. Thank you for your constructive comments. And as the per reviewer suggestion, we have incorporated the reviewer recommendation. So this is very important. So if the editor believe that revised manuscript or the reviewer also believe, oh, this is, they have implemented the recommendation of the reviewer, it can be have the chance to accept the manuscript. If the editor believe that the revised manuscript is the worth a second look, it will undergo another round of the review process. So, however, if the study show poor science or the lack the novelties or doesn't add value to your field, it will be rejected outright. So remember, rejection doesn't always mean the work is the not good, but it often means the paper, sometimes your research article maybe not meet the general standard or the scope. Suppose I am from the biotechnology background and I'm submitting my work in the plant breeding and genetics journal. So this is also out of scope. Sometimes you have not follow, the guideline which is provided by the authors for the every different scientific journals, and you have not follow your, suppose your reference would be the this style and you are adopting some other style. So there is the immediately just editor see and it's written. So, or sometimes it's also needs the substantial improvement. So taking reviewer, just I want to conclude here, taking the reviewer feedback seriously is the key to increase your chance of the publication. So, because many times we think, oh, we can't publish in this journal or maybe they have, but they always give the constructive comment. I don't mind. I have submitted in the more than 6 impact factor journal also, and from Sri Sri University we have published in the high impact factor also, not only the one single manuscript, more than 5 6 or so they gave the very the constructive comment. So don't think you will get the rejection. Whatever they have suggested, implement, or maybe you can submit in the lower impact factor journal, you have the chance to publish there also. So always take the seriously the comment which is provided by the reviewer or the editor. So it will have the more chance to publish in the uh, other scientific journal or which have the some impact factor. So next, article structure. So here basically I will discuss about the standard research article structure. So let's look at the standard structure of a research article. You can see here, which is typically followed in the most of the scientific journals. And I would like to divide into this research article in 4 groups. So group 1, you can see the title, abstract, and the keywords. This is the group 1. And the group 2, which is including here the introduction and methods. In group 3, I would like to add the results, discussion, and conclusion. And the group 4, acknowledgement, reference, and supporting material. So this is the standard research article structure. So I would like to begin with the title, abstract, and keywords. And these are the crucial because they ensure your article is easily discoverable and properly indexed in database and reach the right audience. A well-crafted title and abstract can determine whether someone chooses to read your paper or move on. Next is the introduction, where you can explain the background, context, and the purpose of your research. This section set the stage, presenting what is already known, identifying the gaps in the research which you are going to conduct, and clarifying the objective of your study. Following that, you can have the method section, and here you describe how the research was conducted, what kind of the experimental design you used in your study, how did you collected the data, what kind of the statistical tools you use to analyze your data. So this methodology section is very, very important because many PhD or the master students, sometimes they also conduct the similar kind of the experiment. So this allow the other researcher also to replicate or build upon your work. Then the result section, which is present your key findings in a clear and the objective manner. And this is immediately followed by you have the discussion section where you interpret those findings, relate to them your existing literature, and explain their significance. The conclusion, which is the core message of your research, and highlight its implication or the application or the future direction. After that, you can include the acknowledgement to recognize the funding bodies if you have get some funding from the some institute, and you also sometimes get from individual who supported the work. Then you have the reference section, and here you have to list essential reference to credit previous research and guide reader to additional resource. Finally, if needed, supporting material can be provided as a supplementary data or the method to complement your main articles. So some journals, they have the supplementary section, and some journals, they don't have, depend on the quality of journal. Most of the high impact factor journals, they have the section for the supporting material. You think those data are non-essential or the less significant, you can put those data into the supplementary section. So altogether, this structure ensure your research is presented in a clear, logical, and professional manner, making it easier for reader, viewer, and editor to follow and assess your work. So now let's discuss the actual process of writing article. Because while the final article follow a standard structure, as we discussed in the previous slide, the way we write, it's quite different. I usually start with the method section. Why? Because it describes what you did in your study. And this is usually the most straightforward part to write, since the procedure are already completed and well documented. So you can start with the methods. And next, usually I move on the data. because I already collected the data also. Usually I do here bioinformatics work, so I know what data I have collected. Then I prepare the figures and the table. Then also I divided which table will go in the main, the article, and which one will go in the supplementary section. So it's often easier to create your visual and summarize first because they help you clearly see the outcome of your research. So once you have prepared all the figures or all the tables, then you will get some ideas that what is the outcome of your research. Once you have your data is organized, you can write the results section. After just methods, once you have prepared the data figure and tables, then you can write your result section. So here simply you explain what the data shows and without interpretation. You have no need to interpret your data now because this is you can interpret in the discussion section. So after you finish the result, you can write the comes to the introduction, where you set the stage by providing the background information, starting the purpose of your study since you now have the results. So based on your results, it's easier to introduce the problem and explain why your work is important. Then you can write the discussion because this introduction many times we also compare the studies. So this introduction required for the discussion section, this is the region. After result, you have to write the introduction section, then you can write the discussion section. So where you interpret your findings, compare them with the existing studies and explain their significance. And following the discussion, you can write your conclusion part and summarizing the key outcome and implication of your research and the future direction. In addition, you may propose the further experiment to address the remaining question or to build upon your current result. And here in conclusion section, you can also discuss the limitation and what are the question which is you have not addressed. Sometimes we also have the funding deficiency, and because of that we can't conduct some additional experiment which is very important, but we can mention these things in the conclusion section. So this is the main body of the research article. Once it's complete, you can craft the title which is capture the essence of your. Finally, you can write the abstract, a brief summary of the entire paper, and select your keywords which help index your paper and make it discoverable in the search engine. So even though a scientific paper is a present in one order, the most effective way to write it by following this procedure, which is I am following from the last 10 years and moving from methods to data to result. And so initially when I was in my master program, I also have no idea how to write. Everybody suggests first to start with the introduction or the review literature. But now I understand, and I also get this skill from my professor or from other research scholar. I also used to attend the many seminar. So I also get and I implemented, then I could able to publish in the high quality journals. So another important, when starting a research project, one of the most important and sometimes most difficult step is selecting the right research topic. Suppose you are the MS or the PhD student, or suppose we are established assistant professor also, we have to select how to select our research topic for our PhD student or for the master. So this is very important to make a wise choice. You should consider the three key criteria. First is the relevance. Your topic should be address the existing gap in the current literature, and this ensure that your research add value to the academic community and contribute something new. Next, you can consider the specificity, and it's most important to strike the right balance here. Avoid the topics that are too broad because in your MS, you also have to complete the coursework and you have only the 2 years. And in PhD, you have the 3 years. Sometimes it can be extended 4 and 5. I received my PhD in 7 years. So, but still the time limitation is there. And if you have the too broad topic, which can be overwhelming and lack the focus as well as the topics that are too narrow, this is also not good, which might limit the scope of your work and its potential impact. So I would like to suggest here aim for a focused and the manageable questions that allow for a meaningful exploration. And finally, the feasibility. Even the best idea needs to be practical. Make sure you have the enough time to access the resource, data, and necessary skills to carry out the research effectively. Many times, I also think I can do that, I can do that, but you know that you also need the some skills. So this is very important. If you can align these three factors, relevance, specificity, and the feasibility, you will be well on your way to choose a strong and the successful research topic. So how to create an impactful title and the abstract? And here I have the question, why titles are important? So, you know, sometimes it's something simple or title, but yet extremely powerful. The title of your research article and why title are important. Firstly, the title create the first impression. I already told you how this publication process work. So when a reviewer or the editor pick up your manuscript, the title is the very first thing they see. It immediately set the tone and the expectation for what inside your paper. Secondly, it's about visibility. Your title play a crucial role in determining whether your paper is discoverable in the database, search engine, and the journal website. A clear or the precise and well-crafted titles improve the visibility of your work and help it reach the right audience. And finally, it influences the engagement, reader engagement. So a good title makes reader curious and convince them that your paper is worth their time. Nowadays, nobody have the time to read the full manuscript. If your title is attractive and create, the spark the readers, so they also think, oh, if the title is suppose the vague or confusing or unappealing, there are the potential reader might skip it, no matter how good your research is. So remember, the title is not just a label; it's a strategic tools for communicating the essence of your work and attracting the attention. So now maybe you are thinking, since the title is so important, so how do we craft a good one? Here I will share some practical tips to help you design, develop, or design an effective and professional research article. First, your title should reflect the study. Suppose what kind of the research you have conducted, it must reflect the study. I will show some example in the coming slide. So it must honestly represent what your research is about. No overstatement and no misleading claims. Next, it should be grab the attention. A strong title sparks curiosity and makes people want to read your paper. Then be concise. Avoid the unnecessary long or the complicated titles. Keep it short, clear, and to the point. I have seen many researcher, they use the 4 and 5 lines of the titles. So this is not good. It's make the confusing to the reader. So always keep your title short, maybe 2, 3 lines, and it's clear and to the point. And use the clear description. This is also important factor when you are going to craft your title. The title should convey what your research involved without being too technical or vague. Don't use the too much technical word in your title, because maybe sometime nowadays, the people are doing some interdisciplinary work. So maybe they don't understand. So avoid to use the technical word or the vague word. And your title should be the informative and the brief, giving enough information to inform the reader about your work, but without overwhelming them. Make sure highlight the key issue. Suppose if you have some variable in your study, especially if your paper focus on the some timely or the some critical topic. And always use a simple language. Avoid the jargons or the overlay complex term and might confuse your audience. And you can see here the example how the weak title. If you see in the slide, a study of climate change effect. So now you can say this is the weak title. Why? A study of climate change effect. Where this climate have the effect and what are the factor they are gonna to study. So it's a weak title. If you just, we can make the strong title. Assessing the impact of climate change on the coastal ecosystem, a comparative analysis of biodiversity in Asia. So this is, the stronger one. So this is a very, very important. Here, this is one of my paper, which is published in the plant stress. Now impact factor is 6.9, and you can see we gave the title genome-wide survey of the peptides containing tyrosine sulfation gene family and potential ESY specific miRNA revealed their role in plant development and diverse stress condition in rice. So it's reflecting we have identified the some genes or the family, and they are revealing their role in the plant development or in the diverse stress conditions. So it's completely reflecting, the over study title. This is over another article in, the plant stress in silico analysis and expression profiling reveal the presence of abiotic stress and developmental stage specific apotinase gene in rice. So this is also simply, it's reflecting the study story. What this is the temperature induced flowering phenology, a climate change effect. So this is also published in good. This is the work from my PhD, ectopic ring gene finger gene from hot pepper induced totally different genes in lettuce and the tobacco. So here we are talking over gene which is induced the different genes in the lettuce as well as in tobacco. So its title, why this gene induced. So we have the full story. Maybe everybody is interested. The title is, I can say this is very attractive and published in the very reputed journal from the Springer Nature Molecular Breeding. And this is our another publication in the scientific report, which is from the Springer Nature. So now let's come to the another important, the section of your research article, which is the abstract, which is one of the most important part of your research paper. So abstract is essentially a snapshot of your entire study. It summarizes the research question, methods, key result, and the conclusion, giving a reader a clear idea of what your paper is about. Although it appears at the beginning of the paper, as I already told you when how to write your research article, that most of the researcher actually write it at the end. After your title, abstract is the your affiliation, and the abstract is the third one. So most of the researcher actually write it at the end, and after completing the manuscript to ensure it accurately reflect the contents. The primary purpose of the abstract is offer a quick and clear understanding of your work in just a few lines. A reader should be able to decide whether your paper is relevant to their interest or not. Because this is abstract is the summary of your study. And a good abstract is concise, informative, and well structured. It should highlight the main problem, explain what was done, briefly mention the key finding, state the implication or the significance of the work. This is very important. You have to find out something, but you also have to give the implication of your work or your finding. What will be the use, what you have find out. So this is very important. Suppose I have identified the some genes. So I always wrote as an implication in the future, we can generate the climatic smart probes. So this is kind of, you also have to write the implication. In the short, abstract should make complete sense on its own, even without reading the full paper, because many database, it is the only part really accessible to everyone. There are the many journals, they are the paid one, and no, our university also can't take, the subscription for all the journals because we have to pay heavily. So this is the reason the abstract is freely available. So it's a very, very important. You have to write carefully. So give a special attention to crafting an effective abstract, as it can be greatly improve the reach and the impact of your research. I also would like to quickly, oh, sorry. Yeah, so now you understand the importance of the abstract, then maybe you want to know how to write a strong abstract. So now I would like to say, let's focus on the structure of the abstract and how to write a strong abstract. A good abstract follow a concise format and includes these five elements, which is backgrounds, objective, purpose, methods, result, and conclusion. Background, start by briefly stating that why your topic is important. Provide enough context so reader immediately understand the issue you are addressing or the problem you are going to solve. Once you gave the background, suppose I'm from the agriculture background, and nowadays you may heard about the global climatic change. So this global climatic change not only have impact on the rice, but it's have the impact on all the agriculture crops. So I always, yeah, we can start differently to that global climatic change threat to the agriculture production. So what are the solution? Then you have to give the objective. So, or the purpose. So clearly mention the aim of your study, what specific question or the hypothesis you are going to investigate. And this helps the reader quickly grasp the focus of your work. Then you have to put the methods. Describe very briefly how you conducted your research, what approach or the technique did you use, and this give a credibility to your result and shows the robustness of your study. Then you have to put the results, and here you have to put the very, very significant or the important result. Present the most important findings from your work. Be quantitative if possible. You should give the some numbers, some figures, and the key outcome, which tends to capture more attention. And finally, you have to give the after the result, you have to make the conclusion, explain what your result means and why they matter. Highlight the significance of your finding or their potential impact in your field. By following these straightforward structure, you ensure your abstract is clear, focused, informative, and increasing its chance of being read and cited by the other researcher. So after the abstract, now let's talk about how to choose the right keywords for your manuscript. Choosing the right keywords is a crucial for ensuring your manuscript reach the right audience and has a maximum impact. So first, remember the keyword act as a label for your manuscript. They help index and search engine classify your work accurately. Second, consider the impact. Well-chosen keywords increase your paper discoverable or the citation potential or the relevance in the search result. Third, be specific. Avoid the generic words. Choose terms that are precisely describe your study, focus methodology, or the unique aspect. And next, be strategic. Think about what term your target reader are likely to search for. Include the related concept or the alternative term when relevant. And also use the established abbreviation wherever appropriate. Suppose in our biotechnology, DNA and RNA is the well established abbreviation. So these help your paper appear in more search result, especially in the technical field when you are talking, because and always check the guide for author for the journal you are going to submit your manuscript. Many journals provide the instruction or the list recommendation for the keyword. Make sure your keyword are distinct from your title. They should be add new search terms not just repeat the title words. Suppose you have repeated in the title and the same keyword you are putting. So this is not good. So if you don't use those words you already repeated in your title, use the some alternative words. So it may increase the chance of when somebody will search in the database. So finally, limit your keywords to what is relevant and the required. Usually journals also allow about 4 to 6 keyword, and it's also vary from journal to journal. So by following these points, you can make your research more visible and the impactful. And I'm pretty sure if you use the some keywords, which is very important, then there is chance to cite or read by the wider scientific community your work. So here I also would like to discuss about the role of literature review in the research article. And a comprehensive literature review serves as a summary and analysis of existing literature on a specific topic. It helps us identify the gaps in knowledge and unresolved issue and challenge that still need to be addressed. To write an effective literature review, you can follow these 5 essential steps for the introduction section I'm talking about. We also need give the brief background about this uh, over about our topic. So here also first we have to formulate a clear research question, and this give your review a focus and set the direction for what you need to find. Second, gather the relevant literature from the credible source, and this includes from the journals, good journals, books, and the other scholar work related to your topic. Third, analyze the literature critically, look for the patterns, debates, methodology, and the key findings. And fourth, you have to synthesize the literature. This means combining the insight from the different source to highlight the connection, contrast, and the trends. And finally, you can write the literature review in a logical and the coherent manner, presenting what is the known and what is not known, and what still need to be investigated. So you will get the clear idea if you have the some good literature review related to your topic. And following these steps will help you produce a strong and a meaningful literature review that support your research objective. So here, maybe you are want to know that how to organize a literature review. So a well-structured literature review is essential for any research project. It's not only provide a solid foundation for your study, but also demonstrate your understanding of the existing body of the knowledge in your field. A good literature review help you achieve 4 key things. First, it's allow you to identify the gaps in the current research and showing where your work can make a unique contribution. Second, it helps you position your study within the academic conversation so you can align your work with the previous finding and the debates. And third, it ensures that you avoid the duplication of the past research, and which is very important for producing the original and the valuable work. And finally, you must justify the relevance of your research question or your research hypothesis, making it clear why your study is matter and how it will advance the knowledge in your field. So organizing your literature review carefully will enhance the quality and the credibility of your entire research project. Next, the introduction, which is a crucial part of any research paper, and it set the context and explain why your study is important. So I already told you earlier in my previous slide, first explain, clearly state that the problem or issue you are going to address and why it matters. And always keep it in brief. Focus on the essential information and avoid unnecessary detail. I have seen many researchers, they write the introduction section, maybe in the 5 page, 6 page, 4 page. So this is not good idea to write the 4, 5, 6 page of the introduction. So this is the reason I'm telling focus on the essential information and avoid the unnecessary details or the duplication of the review literature. So here, what you can do, if suppose your paper length is the 30 page, then 1.5 or the 2 page is good enough for your introduction. And third, you also have to show the rationale, demonstrate the reasoning behind your study, linking it to gap and needs identified in the literature. And next, you also have to state the goals, outline what you aim to achieve through your research. And you also have to clarify any term or the concept, suppose you are going to use in your introduction section, so your reader is fully understand the scope and the focus of your work. And finally, I would like to suggest you to reference the properly, which is support your statement with credible source and cite them correctly to enhance the quality of your introduction section. A well-prepared introduction creates a stronger foundation for the rest of your paper and engage your reader right from the first. So now, writing an effective introduction is key to capturing your reader attention and setting the stage for your research. So I'm going to describe briefly step to develop a strong and the impactful introduction. So first, start broad and then narrow down. Begin with the general overview of the any topic before moving to the specific issue you are going to address. So suppose if somebody is I'm from the agriculture background, then I I can start with, the global climatic change. I can give the some figure how this global climatic change, the minimize the losses through the drought or through the heat stress. And we know by the 2050, the world population will be the 10 billion. So this is, if you give the start with, the some general overviews and give the some figures and the numbers, then this is a very good. And you also have to set the context by providing the relevant background information that help readers understand why topic is important. And next, you have to state the problem clearly, highlight the gap, challenge, or the unanswered question your research will tackle. So whenever we also write the manuscript, then I always mention that suppose I do, the literature review survey, then what is the problem there? So we have to highlight the gap or the challenges or the unanswered question and what I'm going to tackle through this research. Then we also have to present the existing solution and their limitation, because we are not the first person who is going to start the new work. We already have the technology, but they have the limitation to show what have been done so far and where improvement are needed. So if you have mentioned the limitation of the existing, the technique, you have to describe here and how your work will be improved the previous technology. You also have to define your objective, clearly explain what your study aim to achieve. You also ensure the general fit. I already told you, suppose I am from the biotechnology background and I'm submitting in the some other irrelevant, the journals. So it's a very important general fit by tailoring your introduction to match the scope and the audience of your target journals. And always write the unique introduction for each manuscript. So avoiding generic templates, this make your work stand out. And finally, keep it clear and concise. Use the simple language, logical flow, so that reader can be easily follow your argument. So by following these points, you can write an introduction that is compelling, informative, and aligned with your research goal. So basically in agriculture, we use the materials and the method section, but in other field, they only used as a method section. So the material and method section is like the blueprint of your study. And it's explained exactly how your research was conducted. So this is first serve as a blueprint of your study, and they provide the detailed information about the materials, equipment, and the procedure you have used to conduct your study. And why we provide the detailed information about our methods or what kind of the equipment or the procedure we used, because it is essential to ensure the reproducibility. You must include the enough detail so that other researcher can repeat your experiment or study and get the similar result. Otherwise, they will think you have fraud data. So it's better you have to give a detailed information about the procedure or the methods you have used in your study. And always include the statistical methods, describe how your data was analyzed, what tests were used, how you ensured the results are the valid and the reliable. Finally, define the key terms and the procedure clearly. This avoid the confusion and help reader fully understand your methodology, because I already told you sometimes the same methodology or the may be used by the some PG student or from the graduate student or the PhD student. So better to define key terms and the procedure in clear manner. So by preparing a clear and thorough material method section, you enhance the credibility and the scientific value of your research. Next, how we can structure robust and the effective materials and the methods. And everybody know this section is the core of your research paper, transparency and or the reproducibility. So first, describe the study clearly, explain what you did and why. Second, of course, I already told you in my previous slide, provide a roadmap by outlining the structure of your method section so reader know what to expect. Organize by experiment or by the step. Break down the complex procedure into a logical parts or the clarity. Next, explain your rationale for choosing a specific methods. Justify why you selected certain design. In agriculture, we use the RBD or the some CD, different designs, or the samples or the tools, statistical tool also we use the why we use. So you have to justify why you selected a certain or particular design or the sample or the tools. You also have to ensure the match the order of your methods to your results so reader can be easily follow how the data is connected. Use the visual like a flowchart, tables, or the diagram where needed to make the complex methods to easy to understand the readers. And reference any standard or the published methods properly. Many times you have no need to give, the right detailed professor that procedure. If somebody is already developed that the procedure and you didn't make any modification or optimize, then you can directly cite that reference. So it can save the space and the shows that you have followed the accepted practice. And finally, detail all the equipment, the analysis techniques, so that other can also replicate your work with the confidence. And following this point, you can make your method section clear, credible, and reproducible. Results. Now, when you are going to presenting your results, it is important to communicate your finding clearly and convincingly. First, grab the attention by starting with your most important results. Second, stick to essential. Focus on the relevant findings that are directly address your question. And I have seen the many researchers, they divided their data in the multiple set and they want to publish the 2 or 3 manuscript. But really, if you want to publish in the high impact factor and some good quality journals, I would like to suggest you avoid the unnecessary data splitting. And you have to make the group related data together to maintain the clarity and the context. Why I told you that you have avoid to split the data, because it make the confusion, because the editor and the reviewer also think, oh, there should be the one more, the experiment or study can clarify the, the objective of the study or the implication. And if you hide the data, then there is chance of the rejection and not publish in the good quality and good impact factor journal. I also would like to suggest use the subheadings to break your results into a section, and this make it easier for reader to follow. There are some paper I have reviewed from the Asian scientists. They don't make any subheading. They are writing just like a paragraph, two paragraph, three paragraph. So this is not a good way to write. I would like to suggest you use the subheadings to break your result into the section, and this make it easier for reader to follow. You also have to ensure a logical flow, presenting results in the same way or the same order as you describe in your material and method section. This is very important. Suppose your methods at the first and you are describing your result in the last. So this is not a good way. You have to follow the material method in the same way in the result section. You have to present your result and clearly highlight the key findings so readers immediately understand what most important. Always include the statistical results like a p-value, confidence interval, or error bar to support your credibility of your data. And finally, use the visual wisely. Good figure table should be complement the text and make complex result easy to interpret here. Here also I have the suggestion. Most of the researcher I have seen, they develop, the uh, graph or the figures in the Microsoft Excel, and their quality is very poor. This is not publishable because when reviewer and the editor they pick up the any manuscript, they see the quality of your figure also. Just they scroll down and they see. I also do the same. If your figure quality is poor and not publishable, we immediately reject it. So always, if you are preparing in the Excel also, no problem. There are many freely available software is also available. GraphPad you can use to make any, the graph or the figures. And there are the many more, the software or the tools available online. You can develop the high quality figures or the uh, interpret your data. So this is very important. And presenting your result will help readers see the value of your research at a glance. So now this is the discussion, which is a crucial part of any research paper because it explains how your work fits into a bigger picture and it's demonstrate how your finding relate to the wider scientific context or the existing knowledge. So I would like to suggest here to start by clearly restating the main issue and summarizing your key findings in a sentence or the two. Then you have to revisit your objective and show how your results address them. Next, you have no need to repeat your result here in the discussion section. Just maybe you can write in the 1 or 2 lines your significant results and build on your results. Interpret what they mean and why they matter. This is very important. And it is also very important to connect your finding to the existing literature. Compare your results with the previous studies to show how your work support, extend, or contradict current knowledge. Many researchers, they simply write in the discussion section that the similar finding reported by this author and the site actually. I don't think so. We can get the similar. Suppose we are from the agriculture background, the same kind of the experiment we are repeating in the different, the Indian conditions. I'm from suppose Rajasthan, somebody is from Odisha, Punjab, or the north or south part. We have the different soil. So always I would like to suggest here to compare the result. What kind of the my condition and why your result is little maybe we have the some difference. So don't write simply or similar finding was reported by seeing it all or the Sarma all. You have to discuss what the thing have did and what you did and how this different from the my methodology or what kind of the design I used. So discuss and then you can write. So this is the good way to write the discussion in this way and use the section to explain, offer the interpretation and the speculation on the possible mechanism or address in the future research. So whenever I write actually discussion section, then we also give the some the speculation. oh, this gene might be work in this pathway, or in the future we can mutate it, or we can overexpress and make the more protein, we can enhance the yield, or the disease resistance, or the biotic tolerance. So always I would like to suggest here to offer the interpretation and the speculation. Be transparent, acknowledge any limitation in your studies, and suggest how they might be addressed in future research. Mostly, I have seen the Asian scientist paper, they don't want to acknowledge any limitation. Sometimes we get the negative result, we don't like to discuss in our discussion section, but I would like to suggest you don't hesitate. If you have get the some negative result also, sometimes they have something, maybe the important result, so you have to include and just wrote in your discussion section that you get the some uh, uh, negative result also. And finally, highlight the relevance of your findings, explain how they advance your knowledge, solve the practical problems, or open new research direction. This is very important implication of your findings, and effective discussion convince reader that your work make a valuable contribution to the field. This is very important section. So please focus on this, what I have suggested you. And now is the conclusion. So you should include a conclusion. Some journals maybe combine the conclusion with the discussion section. End of the discussion, you can make the you can write the conclusion. While others scientific journals require it as a separate section. So often depend on the journals, scientific journals, or their guideline. So in the conclusion, I would like to suggest you here highlight a few key takeaway that were essential for summarizing the main finding and the implication of your research. So first, be clear. A strong conclusion doesn't leave room for confusion. So it should summarize your main points concisely, reinforcing your core message without introducing new information. And I also would like to suggest you that always provide the justification. Your conclusions should be backed by the evidence and the reasoning from your findings. So it's not enough to state that what happened, or you need to be explained why it matters. And next, go beyond the abstract. So conclusion is your opportunity to expand on the implication of your work. What does your data mean in a broader context, and how it can be applied or extend? So this is very important. Many times, no need to repeat what you have wrote in the abstract. Here, just you have to talk about, the some limitation if you have, or what is the implication, and what does your data mean, and how it can be applied for the welfare of the human beings, or for the benefit of the farmers. So focus on the significance, also focus on the significance, emphasize the impact of your finding, highlight what make your work important, and how it contribute to the field. And finally, suggest future direction. What are the next steps? Are there any question left unanswered, or the new path your work open up? A thoughtful look out can be guide future effort and spark further inquiry. So a conclusion, well-crafted ending doesn't just signal the closure. It leaves a lasting impression, and one that clearly communicate the value of justification and the future potential. So now this is the reference section, and here briefly I would like to suggest some best practice when it comes to citing the reference in your work. So my first suggestion is always cite the original work. Many people just read the review, they cite the review. I don't want to suggest here. Give a proper credit to the source of the idea or the data. This is not only enhance the credibility of your work, but also respect to the contribution of the others who really contributed or invented the technology. So always cite the original research. Be selective, include those source that are directly relevant and support your argument. Avoid overloading your reference list with the marginal related work. So cite those reference which is directly related to your topic. Understand the source. This is very crucial. to understanding the source. Make sure you are interpreting them correctly and representing their finding accurately in your work. Limit the self-citation. While it's okay to reference your own work when it's relevant, I also cite my work sometimes in my paper, but it should be the relevant to your topics. If somebody is citing, the 10 or so, excessive self-citation can come across as a biased or the self-promotion. And another, the important, for the reference section, diversify the source. That means referencing from the range of the perspective. Many times I have seen somebody citing from, the one author, as I told you, limit the self-citation, or somebody is citing from the one institute or from the one region or from the one country. So this is not the good practice, or somebody is citing from the one discipline. So this is not good. In agriculture also we have the different discipline. If somebody have wrote something, the about the global climate change, or so we have to cite, the from the different discipline also, and from the different institute, from the different author. So this is enrich your work and show through the engagement with the field. And most important suggestion I would like to make here, you always follow the journal guidelines, because every journals they have the different, the reference citing style. Somebody year should be in bracket, or the journal name should be the abbreviated, or in the bold, or in the italic. So if you don't follow, the reviewer or editor in your first initial check, they maybe reject if you have not followed the, that means they think you are not a serious researcher, you are not following the guideline which is provided to the authors. So different journal, of course, may have a specific formatting or the citation policy. Aligning with them is essential for the publication. So being thoughtful and responsible with the reference not only uh, have the chance to publish your research, it also contribute to the integrity and the credibility of scholar communication. And this is the last part, which is the acknowledge and the additional information. And here in this section, you can express your gratitude to individual or organization whose support made this work possible, and include any relevant supplementary information. So many times, we have to express our gratitude to the mentors and the advisor who are not listed as a co-author. Acknowledging them, their invaluable guidance, mentorship, and support throughout the project is a very important. Because in MS also, if you see the dissertation from the PG student, they have the 4-5 committee member, and they also have significantly contributing to complete their project. So it's a very important. We have to express our gratitude to our mentor or advisor. And sometimes your colleague maybe also get, the some advice from the collaborator, or maybe get the some insight or the some constructive feedback where we have a greatly enriched this work. So we also have to acknowledge the colleagues. If you have get any support from your collaborator, we also have to acknowledge the funding support, where you have to mention the funding agency or the institute, because without their support, you can't carry out this research. And you also have to acknowledge if somebody have proofreaders, because you must extend your special thanks to those who assisted with proofreading and the refining the manuscript as their help, which is significant difference to final quality and presentation of this work. So this is very important. And in our agriculture, mostly sometimes as a biotechnologist, also we get the some clone or the some seed material. So it is important to express appreciation to the supplier who generously donated the material for these studies. And some breeder also generate the some seeds. So we must extend our sincere thanks to the donors. And the supplementary material, if you think you have the some less significant data, you can put in the supplementary section. So now I come to the end. What key message you can take the home? So here some essential take home message that summarize good practice in academic writing and scientific publication and research communication. Be clear. Clarity is the key. Make your points easy to understand. Avoid, the vague or the ambiguities whenever is possible. Be honest. I would like to suggest you here, maintain the integrity, present your finding honestly, truthfully, and acknowledge any limitation you have. As we discussed in the discussion section, state the problem clearly, begin with a well-defined research question or the problems, and this set the stage of everything that follows. Describe the method clearly. Reader should be able to understand and replicate your methods. This is very important for the PG and PhD student. So if you clearly describe your result, then they can also replicate your methods. And transparency here build the trust. Don't overstate the finding, stay grounded, let your results speak for themselves, avoid overgeneralizing or making unsupported claims. So here, suppose if you think your work is important, then maybe it might be cited by the many researcher. So your work will speak automatically. Highlight the implication. This is very important. I told you, show its contribution to the field or the impact in the real world problem. So you have it's why your study matter or your work is matter. Engage the reader, use the narrative elements or the examples wherever possible to make your work more engaging. Use the visual. Here I would like to suggest one figure is better than 1000 words. So wherever you think, always make the flow chart or the figure to communicate your work more engaging or effectively. Follow the instruction. I always follow the submission or the formatting guideline, which is provided by the scientific journals, and to avoid the unnecessary rejection. In the last, I would like to say, handle the rejection positively. Rejection is the part of the process. My paper is also rejected many times. Some paper, they rejected the whole year. And maybe lastly, we publish in the some good impact factor. So don't take it, the negatively, just handle rejection positively, and you can develop the skill with the time and keep refining your craft or your writing skill. If you keep these principle in mind, you will be able well on your way to producing credible and impactful academic work, and you have the high chance to publish in the high quality and the top impact factor journals. So here I have the small one announcement that I'm gonna to co-edit this book on the recent trends in the plant tissue culture, transformative solution from the crop improvement. If you have any background from the science or from the biotechnology or the biology and you would like to contribute, we are welcome for your valuable contribution, and you can reach out with us. And I'm also gonna to co-edit the one special issue in the Frontiers in Plant Science. The impact factor is 4.8. Recently, I got the invitation from these journals. And here I propose the genome editing tools and the CRISPR application for the improving abiotic stress resilience in crop plants. So I'm gonna to co-edit this special issue with Professor Hanjo Hellman, which is from the Washington State University, and one of my collaborator, Dr. Sangram K. Lanka. He is the associate professor and head of department at Gujarat Biotechnology University. So with this, I would like to thanks for your attention and for your time. So now I'm happy to take any question if you have. Anybody have any question? Okay, thank you so much and have a good evening. Enjoy. Ritesh,
थैंक
anybody have any question?
नहीं सर, और तो क्वेश्चन कोई नहीं पूछ रहे सर। Thank you so
Okay.
much, sir, for your insightful and enriching section. We truly appreciate your valuable time and guidance, sir. Thank you. Thanks to all participants for being part of today's section. Good night.